Welcome to another episode of Leverage Addicts, where we talk about property investing and how you can maximize your returns. My name is Blandon, and today we have a special episode for those interested in innovative cash flow strategies through Airbnb. Joining us today is an expert in this area, Stefan Nikolic, the founder of Zodiak, a trailblazing Airbnb company that's reshaping the rental market. We'll be exploring how leveraging Airbnb can significantly boost your property's earning potential. Thanks for joining us today, Stefan.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Blandon.
Awesome. And before we talk about some of the hacks in Airbnb, I like the audience to hear about your story and sort of how you came about starting Zodiak, because that is quite the journey in itself. What sort of inspired you to get into Airbnb in the first place?
First of all, we didn't really have a goal to purchase an investment property.
Oh, so you started with an investment property. It wasn't like one of those sublease Airbnb. You had an investment to start with.
Yeah, so we started, we purchased an investment property, just an apartment there in the CBD, 1 bedroom. My parents helped me and my brother purchase that. So we were kind of just given this investment property and being like, oh yeah, here you go, here's an investment property.
Are they big investors themselves, like your parents?
No, they're not. No, they don't have any investments actually, but they just wanted to, they knew it was the way to build wealth. And maybe they, coming from Serbia, which is a bit of a, it's not a capitalist country like New Zealand. Yeah. So maybe investment was a bit
capitalist?
Compared to Serbia,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But so it was kind of a bit strange for them to, buy an investment, but they knew it was the way forward and to build wealth. So they wanted to help me and my brother out with, we just started working full time. So we could afford to, get a mortgage and so on. So they helped us out that way. And unfortunately, when the tenant moved out, we found it really hard to find a new tenant. And so that's why we turned to Airbnb to potentially, get some income where the mortgage payment's going out. So obviously you got to get some income in pretty fast.
Yeah. So what was it that you saw in the Airbnb? Because you guys were like doing some calculations on the difference. Is like sort of what drove you to that decision?
Yeah, so the idea of turning to Airbnb was basically if we can match our weekly, rental, then we're sweet. So that's what we did. We basically...
What about the cost?
So the cost is pretty much the same, although you have like obviously a few extra costs like, to do with cleaning and so on, and obviously more effort. But the main thing was the Airbnb fee, which was 3% for a host at the time. So it wasn't like too significant. But basically, we had zero income. So we're like, hey, if we can at least match something like fast on Airbnb, then, that's going to be good. And so we basically took the weekly rent, divided it by 7 days. Yeah. And that was our starting nightly rate on Airbnb. When we did that, it basically booked out for a whole 12-month period.
How much was it? Like per night?
It was about like $50 a night.
My gosh.
It was like super, super low. And yeah, like I said, just literally the same day went live, booked for a whole year.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, maybe we priced it too low. And so we started again on a new listing and obviously started working out what the price was, the correct price, the market price for our apartment, which turned out to be, quite a lot more.
So then what did you change it to from like $50 a night?
I think we went up to 120 or so per night at that time. And then we just kept pushing it, just to try see what the limit was when people stop booking, basically when it's too high. And I think, kind of peak kind of season, it was around 180, 200 a night.
So it was almost like you guys were underpricing by 75% almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty shocking to
actually
realize
300%.
Yeah. It was like 4 times more than what we were priced, what we
That's
were
insane.
With. Yeah.
So that is like your experience into Airbnb. Like you started because you couldn't rent it long term suddenly, and Airbnb just got booked out super quickly. But how did you transition from that into now you're managing a whole bunch of Airbnbs for other people?
Yeah, me and my brother were working full time at the time, so we were full-time jobs, and then we would have to clean the property ourselves after work, messaging guests, nonstop, organizing maintenance, doing check-ins at all hours of the day and night. So after a few months, that got pretty tiring. So we looked for a property management company to help us out. But at that time, there wasn't anything what we were really looking for, like a full service where they basically take everything off your hands. Instead, they would do the admin side of things, but not the cleaning, and kind of leave the cleaning up to you or to find a contractor. Or they would, it would be kind of the opposite. You could find the cleaning contractor, but, not the admin side of things, or not the full scale admin. Because it was, very early days for Airbnb at that time. It was a good 7 years ago. Yeah, and we couldn't find a company like that. So yeah, I just decided to start my own and offer that kind of service for investors.
That's awesome. And so how did you transition from, okay, I'm going to do this Airbnb thing, and then, you just talked about having a job. When did you decide like, yep, this is it, I'm going to jump the ship, go full on?
Yeah, I mean, that was for our own apartment. And then I thought, I'll do this for the clients, for, property investors. And so when I got my first property investor client, I thought, oh yeah, if I can get one, I can get more. So I just quit my job and just went full in the business. So, from there, developed a website and so on, and started getting more leads through and more clients on board.
Because tell me about that first property that you got under management, because from your previous conversation with you, it was quite interesting.
Yeah, that one was where I rented out studio apartment just in the CBD. I rented out from the landlord for about $300 a week. And then I put it on, obviously I told her what I'm going to do, and she was fine with it.
Yeah.
And I included, the subletting clause in the agreement, in the tenancy agreement. And yeah, basically I just put it on Airbnb, furnished it myself, put it on Airbnb, and yeah, basically took the profit after the rental fee for that property.
And you pretty much doubled it.
Yeah, pretty much double, yeah. And in high season, yeah, even a bit higher than that. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty good.
And so now how many across the portfolio do you have under management?
Now we've got 150.
150?
So, yeah.
And how many years did that take?
So we've been operating for 6.5 years now.
6.5 years. That's awesome. That's really good work. So what's next? I mean, what is the company looking to do?
So we're looking to grow now. Basically, my aim for the company is to double every year. So it's a pretty ambitious goal, but yeah, nonetheless, that's the aim. That's what we're going to try to do next year as well. So we're going to probably go outside of Auckland for the first time, just trying to do some research on where to go next. Yeah, that's the big thing next year.
Well, we can start with our property clients database to begin with.
Yeah,
we've got amazing. A lot of clients in Napier, and they don't live in Napier, but we have a bunch of rentals in Napier, Rotorua.
Oh, yeah, right.
This year has been a lot in Wanganui.
Oh, okay.
Those areas. Some up north. Yeah. Definitely quite a few in Invercargill, I would say. Christchurch as well.
Yeah, Christchurch, yeah.
Interesting.
Christchurch is a potential one, Christchurch. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe, Christchurch, Wellington, maybe Tauranga, Queenstown. We're going to do market research to choose, but yeah, those are the kind of targets.
Yeah, I think Christchurch will be good just because there's so much rentals down there with all the new buildings.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a really interesting story, Stefan. And I thought maybe what we could do now is give the audience some tips from your observation when you started Airbnb till now. Like, what are some of the common mistakes that you see people sort of making when they first start an Airbnb?
Yeah, probably not taking the marketing seriously on Airbnb is a major mistake. So people think they can just, take some quick snaps on their phone and, away we go kind of thing. Basically, it's not going to work anymore. So yeah, definitely get professional photographs, create a full description on the listing and fill in all the information on the listing, because all of that stuff helps with ranking well online and obviously getting bookings. Shows off the property obviously in the best way. And another major mistake is people not being flexible with the check-in.
Right. So it's quite interesting that you say that, Stefan. Like, what you have sort of talked about is similar to when I talk to agents or real estate agents who sell properties. It's usually about photos, the description, how to make the listing more searchable. So all of this is related to marketing. And essentially the Airbnb game is kind of like a marketing game as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because standing out online is pretty hard against, hundreds of listings or thousands of listings, what we have in Auckland. So it's very important. Yeah.
So that's really good insight. And I thought what's going to be really good for the listeners is they're probably dying to know, okay, what are some tips you have for people who are starting out Airbnb? Like, say, for example, I want to put Airbnb up now, and it's kind of you shooting yourself in the foot because we're giving out the trade secrets. But like, what are some things that is going to help me become a better Airbnb person?
So yeah, the most important thing would be to be flexible with the check-in time, because what happens is if you have 24/7 check-in available, that allows your listing to be business ready on Airbnb, which gives it a bit of an additional searchable boost. So that's pretty major because a lot of people use Airbnb for business, and being able to, check in anytime is a major, benefit. And so, yeah, that's what me and my brother would used to do is, check in guests like in person, literally all hours of the day and night. So I remember this one time, this guy was like supposed to arrive at, I think, 12 o'clock midnight.
Yeah.
And his plane got delayed 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So I was like literally up all night waiting for this guy's plane to land and for him to come in. I had work the next day, but that's partly why we decided to look for a management company. So yeah, being flexible like that though is really good. Gives you extra searchability online. And another one would be with the photos, as I say. So having professional photos, not like your photographer friend that sometimes shoots weddings on a weekend, but actual real estate photographer that does it every day.
Yeah. Is it important to do staging? Because I mean, most Airbnbs probably furnished anyway, but like, is it important to maybe just make it look appealing?
Yeah, for sure. Like staging is important, like with real estate photography and, sales. So, and yeah, with that as well, furnishing it to a high standard. So not like cheap Kmart, stuff that's going to break after a few times, few uses.
It does feel like it's a big difference. If I go to an Airbnb, even though in the photos they look good and I go there and it's like everything's Kmart, then you just feel like, it's not as premium as if I went to a place where they actually had like solid furniture that they had for years, antique furniture that it feels premium.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So one of the review categories on Airbnb is value. So value for money. And you have to basically score well on all of these categories to get, 4 or 5 stars. 5 stars is obviously the aim.
Could you shoot yourself in the foot by making the photos look too good? And then like, if they show up, it doesn't feel the same.
100%. Yeah, you can. So
how do you balance that?
Well, you got to back up the, professionally taken photos and the, well done marketing with legitimate quality. When people actually arrive, like all the way from when they book, that experience from when they book to when they pick up the keys to when they check in, when they check out, all of that needs to be very well planned out and smooth. And it all obviously is part of the experience. So you have to put a lot of effort into making sure it all goes smoothly for someone, especially if you think, tourists are going to come from overseas. It's their first time in New Zealand. Maybe they don't speak English very well. And, you need to make it really simple for them. I remember when I was in Thailand, me and my girlfriend at the time, now she's my wife, but girlfriend, back then we booked an Airbnb and I think it took us like 3 hours to find where it was because, just non-communicative host. And the keys were in some random street that wasn't, the instructions to get there weren't well thought out, so it's just, pretty bad. It was good when we got there eventually, but it's not just about the apartment. It's the whole experience. Like from when they book to when they check out. That needs to be well thought out. Yeah.
So you must have some sort of system now, I guess, established like a checklist. Okay. Is it easy to find the keys? Is it easy to get it? Is it easy to check in? Like I'm guessing some sort of template now.
Yeah, exactly.
So many. Yeah.
Yeah. So as part of our onboarding process, we do a very thorough inspection, which, like what a regular property manager does, where they take photos of literally everything. We go a step further and list down and literally count how many forks, how many knives, how many plates, everything.
Yeah.
And part of that inspection is we obviously get where are we going to put a lockbox nearby? Like where's the closest location? Is there, digital lock available or not? Are we going to do personal check-ins there? And how is that going to work? Where is there to park? And all of this kind of information that's going to go into basically creating that information to guide the guests when they do, make their booking. So we get all of that information up front so we can create the listing accurately, as well as the guest guide that we can send to the guests when they do make a booking.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. So far, you've talked about having flexibility on the availability of the Airbnb when you can check in. You talked about photos. You talked about furniture.
Yeah.
You talked about the experience, thinking about the whole, how is it planned out from the person arriving to opening the doors, getting the keys, opening the doors. What other ones have we missed? Are there any other things that, me as a new Airbnber, I don't know if that's what you call them, but like what else do I need to look out for or should pay attention to?
Yeah, so to kind of bring it back to our first mistake, when me and my brother listed our apartment, the pricing is very important. So some people undervalue their property and some people overvalue the property. So it's very important to basically get the market price for your property. And to do that accurately, it's good to use a pricing software. So Airbnb have like an inbuilt pricing algorithm with suggestions, but it's not very good. It usually prices the property way too low, which is good. Like it makes you confident you got get heaps of bookings like we did.
Yeah.
But you actually don't want that. That means that your price is too low. Instead, you should use a third-party pricing software, which is going to be a lot higher, priced, and it's going to adjust the price constantly based on the actual demand for individual nights.
Or you can just have a plugin like that now.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's like literally scans accommodation in Auckland or wherever you're based and looks at hotels and other Airbnbs to see where there's high demand, low demand, and then sets the price according to the actual demand.
So when I go Airbnb with my wife and 2 kids, one of the things that we always look for is like when we land, we try to look around and see, oh, is this place clean?
Yeah.
Like, how important is that in your management, and how do you try to make sure that, the property is at the best level of cleanliness?
Yep. So it is super important. So that's kind of been a challenge to, really solid and high performing housekeeping team, which is what we have right now. And that's one of the, major benefits of, working with someone like us is where you have like very experienced team that knows how to clean Airbnbs, which is very different from residential cleaning. And it's also quite different from hotel cleaning. It's more similar to hotel cleaning, but still quite different.
What are some major difference do you see?
So the biggest one by far with residential compared to residential is the standard. So the standard with Airbnb is way higher. So sometimes we start managing a new property and they've had to end the tenancy clean by a clean company, but it's like basically like we're gonna deep clean everything.
Yeah.
We just got to get it up to a really high standard. And then with the turnover cleans after every guest, just, keep it that standard.
That sounds like your next business that you can acquire. Cleaning business. Or maybe
we basically have
chemicals.
Yeah, true. we basically have a cleaning business within our business.
Yeah, true.
We used to contract that out, but we just found that the standard wasn't as high as what we wanted. So now we have like a housekeeping manager, they're from the hotel industry, supervisor, and a full staff of housekeepers. We've got 16 housekeepers at the moment.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's pretty much half of our staff are cleaning staff. So it's very important. And
people have sales team, you have cleaners.
Yeah, we got, well, it's basically, pretty much almost half is housekeeping and the other half is admin. So
that's really good.
With the housekeeping, the way we keep them performing to a high level is we actually have KPIs for them to achieve every month. And those KPIs are based on the reviews that we receive from guests.
I see.
So we read all the reviews every single week. And that's what the KPIs are based on. And
they get a bonus for it?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Monthly bonus.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if they get 9.6 out of 10 for the month in reviews, then they get a monthly bonus. So.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Incentivize the right way, get the right results.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about Zodiak. What type of clients do Zodiak serve?
So it's, property investors, basically.
The location or?
Location, so we're in Auckland at the moment only, pretty much just central suburbs. We can do North Shore a little bit and we can do South as well, but not too far out. We're looking to expand the service area within Auckland, but also, as I say, outside of Auckland soon. So
that's awesome. Thank you, Stefan, for sharing your expertise with us today. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember, in the world of property investments, there are a lot of strategies, and Airbnb certainly is one viable one that you can definitely explore and how you can actually increase your cash flow. So definitely check out Stefan's website, zodiac.co.nz, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Zodiac with a K.
With a K. And we'll chuck it in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, there's only one thing that I'm asking for, one thing, and that is to share it with one other person that's going to get value from it. So until next time, join us again on Leverage Addicts and keep learning how you can maximize your returns on your investments. Thank you, Stefan.
Thanks a lot, Blandon. Yeah, awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.